Hey everyone, welcome to the Practical Dad. You want to know why I'm recording this right now? I'm on my son's bed with a blanket over my head to get as best sound quality as I can because this is an old episode. This is actually an episode that was recorded, I think, about 2 years ago. And so it's supposed to come out, but as you heard from the first episode from this year, I got busy, prioritized other things, and so it never came out. But I wanted to present this episode. The guy who's on it was a pastoral intern with me in a summer, and he has 10 kids. You're going to hear all about him in just a minute, but just wanted to make sure and publish this episode. And so here we go. It's kind of like the dad experience before we get to the dad experience. And I've talked to him. He's like, I think I need a redo. But here we go. He has some helpful information from a dad with 10 kids. All right. 10. I didn't misspeak there. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For my Espanol folks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For my Japanese folks, ichi, ni, san, yon, son. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. All right, y'all. Hope y'all enjoy the podcast. Today we have a guest with us, Hugh Peiser. Hugh is a pastoral intern here at the church in which I serve, but he's also a father and husband, father of 10. And so today's episode is interviewing Hugh and looking at what it looks like to be a father of 10. And so all you fathers out there who are planning to have 10 babies, welcome. This is a podcast for you. So Hugh, welcome to the podcast, man.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Man, I want to pick your brain a little bit. Let the audience know who you are. So most people don't know you. Where'd you come from? How old are you? What are you currently doing? What do you desire to do? Marriage, all those sorts of things.
Okay, I live in Fort Worth, Texas right now. I grew up in Texas, raised here. Lived in Haskell for a little while. Moved up to Grapevine, suburb of Fort Worth in Dallas. So now I live in Fort Worth. I'm going to Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. It's a long story. I am 47 years old. I'm a public school teacher. I've been a teacher for 14 years. And recently felt called to the ministry, so I enrolled in seminary. I do have 10 kids. I have 7 boys, 3 girls. Oldest one's about to turn 19, and the youngest one is 2.
Wow.
Been married for 20 years.
So 19 years, 20 years of marriage. Your oldest is 19 already?
Yes,
so that makes him, when was he born?
Well, he was born in August. He'll be 19 in August.
Well, what year? Sorry.
2005.
So you've been changing diapers basically since 2005 up until what? Are you still doing
Still
it?
changing diapers.
Still right there finishing, huh?
No breaks. Yep.
Wow. So what has been, did y'all plan to have 10 kids? Like you got married and you're like, all right, 10's the goal, 11, 8.
We always talked about, first of all, we talked about waiting a while before having kids. And we'd have maybe 3 and then adopt a couple.
Yeah.
That was our goal. And, we just left it up to the Lord, really, and had Noah, our firstborn, right off the bat. And it was so great and fun. I said, let's do this again. And
I'm out, bro.
yeah.
Well, what part was fun?
Having a boy.
Okay.
Having a son.
Because the way that came out, it kind of was like, which is good, right?
It's all fun.
It is.
It is all fun.
It's good. Absolutely. I mean, that's part of marriage. Is
Yes.
the enjoyment of that physical intimacy with one another, and in a way in which God has provided for us. And so, amen to that. But it just sounded the way you put it. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, you got to clarify. They're both fun, right?
Yeah, they're both fun.
So, but specifically, you're just talking about the child, like just
But having a
child.
son, yes, I was so excited. And, we just said we're just going to leave it up to the Lord. And we're not going to prevent or do anything like that. And we just prayed. And 20 years later, we have 10.
Cool. Are you attempting to have more?
No, we're done.
Think you're done?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Man, so what in your experience, so your first son comes, what's his name?
Noah.
Noah. Noah comes into the world and you're new to this. You feel prepared? You feel like you got it all? You remember what that was?
Yes, I remember having feelings of I can't do this. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
I'm not somebody that can raise another human, right, and lead them in the right direction.
Yeah. And now your youngest is a 2-year-old. What's her name?
Her name is Ella.
Ella. So by the time Ella comes, is it a whole different story? Like, oh yeah, I know how to do this. Or what's the result now?
No, I still have moments where I'm like, what was I thinking? This is a lot of lives that I'm responsible for. But again, just being in the will of God, I believe, has kept me joyful and at peace with that.
Good. What have you found is the hardest, or one of the hardest things during this process that or another way of asking is, what is one of the greatest challenges you've faced in these last 19 years as a father?
Well, I think one of the hardest things is when you think you know how to train a child, another one comes along and you got to train them completely different. So once you have something that works, you're still going to have to find something else.
Even with 10?
Even with 10. They're all different, Some need that soft word and just love and hugs and correction. Some need real swift correction and get it done and not mince words.
Wow. That does sound challenging. I mean, I've got 4. People think 4? We go around, when we go somewhere, people look at us. So I'd imagine 10,
right.
Everybody looks at you. Everybody notices you when you come in. The first question we always get asked is, are those all yours? Is that the same question you get asked?
Are those all yours? Do you know what causes that?
Yes.
Yes.
I do, and it's fun.
Yep. That's our response.
Yeah. So you have these 10 kids, you're saying they're all unique, and we've talked about that on this podcast before, of the differences of like your children, and specifically the episode where I was talking to a friend of mine named Joe. He has 2 girls, and they're different. And how do you be a father to 2 different people? I'm seeing that even with my children. My youngest, they're twins. They're 3 now, boy and a girl. And I can say one thing to all 4 of the kids at the exact same time, and the girl begins to cry. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, this makes it difficult. Like she's so much more sensitive than the boys are. And so you're processing that. You're doing that with all 10. But then you're working through ages also. Like the twins are the same age, and I see that difference. But then you have a 16-year-old, I know. You have a 16-year-old named Victoria. She's a girl. And then you have a 2-year-old. So what's the difference between them 2? How does that work? And then you have one more girl too also.
I do. Wow, that's I don't know if I completely know what the difference is yet with my 2-year-old. I'm still figuring her out. She's not as compliant as my 16-year-old was at that point. Yeah, I know my and then my other girl, she's 5. And she's personality is completely different. Like she's just all over the place. I don't even know how to explain her. So my 16-year-old probably not as affectionate, and some of my boys are real affectionate. But my 5-year-old, she can be real affectionate, or she can be, I don't want to be around you at all. And so she can switch pretty fast. My 2-year-old, she's so far really affectionate. She loves to be held, but again, she's 2, so
yeah.
Oh, we'll see what happens. My 16-year-old was into all the boy stuff with her siblings, but she always mixed in with the girl stuff. Like she would wear a Darth Vader mask, but she'd also have a ballerina tutu on at the same time. And she hated for me to brush her hair, any of that kind of thing. But my 5-year-old loves for me to brush her hair, and she's pretty girly.
Yeah.
So love shopping, love shoes.
It sounds to me like you're spending time with your children to a point where you are getting to know them. Is that right?
Yes.
Hopefully, right?
Yes.
But Like, are you, and you're not switching like, okay, I forgot they're more sensitive. You just know them because you've been spending time with them, correct?
Yes.
So how do you balance your time between 10 children? Because obviously they don't all get the same amount of time. What does that look
Right.
like for you?
Right. So the older ones probably get a little more of my time. Kind of our philosophy has been, once they get a certain age, they really become the dad's responsibility to train more than anything else. So my 18-year-old, 17-year-old, they are entrusted to me more than anything. We'll go out, we'll go hang out, we'll do sports together. My 17-year-old is now into a phase where he loves to discuss Revelation with me. So a lot of good discussions. And my older one, of course, he'll argue with us about it. But it's a training process that we are just going through Scripture and breaking it down more so than I do with the little one. So we're spending a lot of time in that kind of aspect. And it's kind of nice, even if it's just calling me up on the phone. They'll text me Scripture or call me and say, "Hey, have you seen this?" That's been kind of taken over more than, say, us going outside and playing basketball or something like that. Now, my younger ones, I'll just sit and play with them, hang out with them. They love football cards. So we've been trading a lot of football cards here recently. So they love to sit down and we'll do that together.
What does that look like? How do you trade football cards with each other?
Well, they have
I've never done it, so
I have buckets of football cards.
Okay.
Because I've been in baseball and basketball, and so we'll pull those out and we'll go through them together because we've been trying to go through them for a long time. We still haven't got through them. And like, oh, I want this card, and then they'll bring me their collection. We've got them all, notebooks, and they'll say, "Hey, I'll trade you this one for that one," and or we'll look up values and stuff. We'll just do that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
And my daughter, my 5-year-old, loves to, really, she just wants to do her own thing most of the time. So if we're hanging out, she's just sitting in my lap. Most of the time, whatever we're doing, she'll just come crawl in my lap. Same with my 2-year-old. She's still pretty hung up on mom, though.
So with these 10 children, and you're spending time with them, you're getting to know them, and I asked, like, well, you feel more comfortable now, and you're like, well, they're all unique, so it's still difficult. It's different for each child. But with that said, how do you address like their personal issues? Do you do it as a group, like just addressing everybody at the same time? Are you pulling one aside? Are you letting older brother or sister help deal with that? I mean, what does that look like?
Well, it really depends, again, on the child, but mostly the personal issues are done in private unless it's involving another sibling. And then usually go to your sibling first, figure that out, and then come to me if it doesn't work. But yeah, mostly, and I think maybe most people with teens probably experience this, personal issues with teens usually dealt with at night in the bedroom alone right before bedtime when I'm trying to go to sleep. They want to come in and talk about it. But they're talking about it. So usually that's privately. Now, if it's going to affect the family, there's a way to tell the family without giving too many details, or hey, you need to encourage your brother going through some tough times. Your sister's been upset lately. What can we do to help?
Right.
Those kind of things.
Okay. So your background is you're a closet millionaire, so you don't have to work, you don't have to do anything. That's why you have 10 kids. Right. You don't worry about money, right? Is that correct?
Right. That's correct. I wish.
Yeah, you're working. Maybe. You're a working man.
I am.
Not a lot of jobs give you lots of money to provide for 10 kids. How do you balance working and providing for your family? What do those seasons look like, and what have they looked like for you?
Well, there have been some really good seasons and some really thin seasons, I would say. There was seasons where I had to take on multiple jobs and I didn't see the family very much. But I've been blessed for the most part. I've been able to spend a lot of time with the kids and not have to work multiple jobs. God has always provided when we needed it. We were a one-car family at one point. We had 3 kids, and my oldest was 5, and we were about to put him into school. And we decided that we were going to. Well, my wife came to me and asked me what she wanted, if what I wanted, if I wanted to do private school or her homeschool. And she already knew that I wanted her to homeschool, but I wasn't pressing the issue because it was her role to do that. And so we'd already paid, I don't know, so much money in tuition for the private school, and it was starting in a week. And I said, well, I really feel like we're supposed to homeschool, but I'm not going to push you. And she's like, okay, because I want to honor that. And so we went ahead and withdrew him, lost $1,000, and we're like, we're just going to trust God on this.
Ouch.
And then, yeah. And then we got a phone call from our church and says, hey, we just had a van donated to us, and we really want y'all to have it.
Wow.
So then we became a 2-car family after that.
Man.
So we thought we were praying for one because we thought we were going to be taking somebody to school.
Yeah.
But so just, things like that always seem to happen when we honored God. I mean, we're paycheck to paycheck. We always have been. God always swoops in at the right time and just says, "Here's some help."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know a lot of people in the church have been hurt, and I get that absolutely. There's been parts of that, and people in the church have to repent of those issues and ask for forgiveness and make those relationships right again. But when the church does get it right, when they don't get it wrong, you see those kind of beautiful moments of the givingness of people to share the kingdom of God. That no, we're not communal in the sense that everybody has the same amount of money, everybody has the same cars, all those sorts of things. Right. But if we have something extra that somebody needs, then we give it. And I've been blessed by that way. That people in the churches I've been, they've given so much, not because I asked, just because they saw a need, and they blessed us. And so that's brothers out there, make sure you're connected to a good church, because you don't raise your children alone. You have a community of church brothers and sisters who also help with that.
Absolutely.
That's what I found.
There was no way we would have been able to do this on our own. We've had so much input, so much help from church family.
So how the ages between the top 3 are what? 19 or about to be 19?
Yeah, 19, 17, and 16.
Okay. And then the next one?
14.
Yeah. It gets pretty busy in there. Mm-hmm. I know what that is. Yeah, it gets real busy doing. Did you have any help?
What do you
or
mean,
was it just you and your wife?
No, I mean our parents live close, so we had our parents. We've always had friends, and you kind of help. Your kids can come over here, and we're going to take our kids over there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've always had help. We've been blessed in that area. We've never been on an island.
So if you're trying to spend time with them, you've got help here and there, but still, I mean, taking 7 kids to go eat out is a massive bill. Trying to do something like Six Flags is a massive bill. What does recreation look like, or those fun moments together as a family? How do you address that? Because here's the thing, whether you have 10 kids or 1 kid, your income, if you can't afford to do a lot of things as 1 or 2 kids, with 1 or 2 kids, you can't do it. It's no different than 10 kids. So here's an opportunity for brothers listening on this podcast right now to think through some other opportunities besides feeling this weight to spend money all the time, money they don't have, and feel that pressure. What were some things y'all have done?
Well, my wife likes to eat out. So she had to figure out something so we could eat out. So a lot of times we'd go to a Mexican food restaurant, beans and rice and tortillas. Mm-hmm. Find as many coupons as we can. So my wife is very good at finding deals at restaurants so we can go eat. And I can't tell you how many times, and I'm being honest when I say I've lost count, that we went out to eat and our bill was paid for. Wow. And because I would pray, I was like, Lord, we don't have the money for this, but I want take care of my wife. This is what she wants. And I would go ahead and just do it. And the bill would get picked up. And we'd never know who it was or anything like that. So I would say that part, honoring your wife, honoring your family. But recreation, we spent a lot of time outside. A lot of time playing basketball, playing football, just as a group. Six Flags didn't happen very often, once or twice maybe. But yeah, we try to go to the movies like on Half Price Tuesdays, something like that. We just find deals wherever we could. And, ask for, that was one thing we did, for Christmas. And if, our parents, in-laws wanted to buy us a gift, we'd say, hey, season passes. And we'd get season passes to the zoo, which weren't too terribly expensive, and things like that. That's what we do.
Huh. I'm just thinking through that a little bit. You're playing sports with them. Is this just like at the park, or is this like formal sports teams, or
usually in the front yard at the park?
Okay.
They did play some organized football, but as far as family goes, we just usually went outside and played.
Is sports a big role, like formal sport? What's the term for it? I guess it's formal sport.
Organized sports.
Organized sports. There we go. Is that something that y'all have done, or just here and there?
Just here and there. My oldest two have played organized football for about 4 or 5 years. So they've been doing it for a while. My 14-year-old and 12-year-old has gotten into it recently. Mm-hmm. But again, with as many children we have and scheduling and money, we don't try to play a whole lot of different sports.
Yeah. You get pushback from your kids from that?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes they, we've only really focused on football because we've had a great organization that we were a part of. It's a homeschool organization, played other private schools and other homeschool teams. So we've stuck with them for the most part and not played basketball. Now they've got a basketball team, so we did that last season. But yeah, we got some that want to play baseball, and we're like, no, we can't.
How do you do that? How do you talk to them about that?
I just explain the family situation and how, and really I try to boil down sports to, is this really what God wants for us? Is this your gifting? You can be good at it, but I don't know that it's your gifting. Are you eating right? Are you getting up in the morning practicing, coming home practicing after whatever your lessons, and all night thinking about it? No, you're not that committed. So I'm not sure this is where you're supposed to be. So let's use our time in a more fruitful way.
That's good. Yeah, because I can imagine, like, just from a practical standpoint, how you would be able to do that with all those kids, of going here and there, and like that would be literally just driving on the road and going to practice, never talking to them because they're talking to the coach, and then you're going to. So I can't imagine that.
I struggled with that, feeling guilty about not letting them play whatever they wanted, but I've come to the realization that it's sports. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily kingdom advancing. It's taking up time.
Well, you've hit an idol in most churches today, with Christians, quote unquote. I don't know. That's between Lord and them, but there seems to be, and it has been for the last multiple years, this idolatry of sports and like skipping church and never being a part of church things and always putting sports first. And I like your approach to that. Like, are you gifted in this way? Is this what you're called to do? But I guess they have friends that are doing that.
Well, that's where they've met most of their friends, is through sports.
Okay. And so how are your children responding to that? Are they being influenced by their friends to a point where it's like, Dad, just let me play baseball, or whatever it is?
That's a good question. I don't think so. Not my younger ones. My older ones, maybe, because they wanted to be with them. They wanted to hang out with the group. Mm-hmm. So my oldest one just loved football since I can remember, since he was really young. Drawing up plays. He was like 5 or 6 years old and bring them to me at bedtime. Hey, look at this play I drew up.
Yeah.
So he's always been into it. But the next one, 17-year-old, I think he just likes being around other guys and things like that, which is good. But yeah.
They all get along pretty well.
Mm-hmm. As well, I guess, as siblings do, I guess.
Right. Well, some just, they're just so different sometimes, and they're spaced out.
Yes.
That it's not that they don't get along, it's just that they have different pursuits and their time is spent differently. Mm-hmm. But I guess they don't really have, they've all grown up together for the most part. So, because mine are that way. They are always playing together, always hanging out, but they're all close in age.
Yes.
And if one does something, then the other one wants to do it. So that's how it is for you.
Yes, exactly how it is.
Yeah, because, what would that look like if everybody had a different pursuit? And they will eventually, right? But one wants to do art. One wants to be a ballerina. One wants to do football. You haven't been stretched out in that way yet?
No, again, we let them try football. We let them do it. And then we look at it, is this gifting? Is this where God's called you? Now, my 16-year-old Victoria, she sings. She likes to sing. So she's been getting lessons. She's learned how to play piano, and she likes theater. So we've been letting her dabble in that, and so I could see her singing, maybe worship leader, something like that. So yeah, we're encouraging that. So she is doing something different, but that does make it difficult because that's a completely different sphere than sports. You're going to other places, different times.
Yeah.
So that makes it difficult. Yeah. But the rest of them haven't been engaged in anything else yet. So I haven't had to balance too much.
Do y'all eat at the table?
Yes. Yeah. Now with the older one, he, with his schedule, and he's starting to slowly move away a little bit. He still lives with us, but he's not always there at dinner time, things like that. But yeah, we're all home. We're all at the table eating dinner together.
Have y'all always ate at the table?
Always.
What have you found fruitful from that?
Relationship, just conversation. We get the greatest conversations. Anywhere from, again, we argue the Bible a lot of times, which is fun because it comes out of questions. So, hey, we got a question about this. Or we talk about somebody's day, and we don't get to everybody's day. Yeah. But everybody's got a comment on one person's day. One thing we used to do is go around, okay, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite book? Yeah. We used to go around and do that a lot, and it changes. So we have a lot of conversations about that. Yeah. So just knowing each other. I would say, as we're talking about this, the biggest thing is just knowing each other out of that.
Huh. You're outnumbered. So they have a vote at the table. You're losing, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that debate of the Bible. All right. Yeah. Who of y'all think that's right?
Right.
Right. No, I think we can stay out a little bit later. We've made a vote, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, good. So is that one big table?
Yes.
You have one big table?
Yes. Let's see. I think it seats 10. Yeah. I believe it seats 10. So it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right now. No, it seats 12. I'm sorry. I was just thinking of the kids. Seats 12, so it seats all of us.
Where'd you get that table at?
We had it made. We had it specially made.
Man, I've been looking for one. I've got this huge, it's split right now between dining room and a playroom. It's all one big room, but there's the table, and then there's the kids' toys and section to play. Because when they were real little, which they still little, they're all under 6, but we could eat there and eat with guests, and the kids could play there. All the kids could play. But eventually what I want to do is make that whole room just one massive Knights table and just invite people over all the time. Hey, come eat. We're going to have a big party, and just have everybody at this huge table. The problem is I don't know how to get it in the house. I might have to bring it in pieces, but.
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, ours might have been put together while it was in the house. But it's a beast to move.
Oh, man.
It's not fun.
Okay. What type of, did you grow up eating at the table?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
And your wife did too?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know it's her. She's the one that's really big on eating the table. And I would say I ate at the table until I probably got in junior high or so, and then
Okay.
then we kind of spread out from that. But I was the youngest, and so I was the last one in the house. So we kind of stopped doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't. I have to ask my wife that. That's a good question. But it's so important to her. Very important.
Yeah. I didn't grow up eating at the table. We did at Thanksgiving. Everybody but like my dad and someone else who would go sit like in their recliner or something. But that was because
Watch the game.
Yeah, it was because watch the game, and there wasn't enough room really in our small house. But I would sit there with my grandma, grandpa, and mom and brothers. I'm trying to think. Mainly at Thanksgiving, when I was real little, but it was just me and like my little brother, and sometimes my older brother, but he mainly ate somewhere else. But I have found that eating at the table is super helpful. So I like. Do you have an agenda every single time you come, or is it just like what comes to your mind? Like, hey, let's talk about your favorite whatever.
Yep. It's just usually chaos. Trying to get everybody sitting down and making plates and passing stuff around, and then conversation just usually comes out of that.
Yeah. So at our house, when we're at the table, a lot of times this is what happens. My wife makes their plates, and she'll make her plate. Sometimes she'll make my plate, but I'm a little bit more picky, not necessarily like with the food, but the amounts. And so a lot of times she's like, you can make your own plate. Not out of disrespect, but just because she's like,
Right.
you know what you want on it anyway, so you just make it your way.
Mm-hmm.
And like this whole last 2 weeks, I haven't been eating what they've been eating because I've been on a special diet. So like she'll make their plates and I'm trying to get my plate ready. So they'll put their plates down and they wait until I get my plate and come and pray. But for a while, it was like with the twins when they were real little. And then at that point, I think it was like 3 and 2, and then like 1 or 4 and 2 and 1. And so I'm like, she'll cut it all up, and then I'm sitting here trying to feed them. And by the time they're done or about done, these kids want more food, and then you go and you're not even eating. I'm sure. What does it look like for y'all? I mean, you got siblings now, or they have siblings that can help, but.
Right. Yeah. Having the older ones is great. But yeah, I mean, the worst is having steak or something like that, and we're cutting it up.
Yes.
We're just cutting and cutting. And I finally made a rule and said, you can ask for seconds after I've had my first plate. Mm-hmm. So we made that rule. So, that you're sitting there waiting.
We just started that rule.
Yeah.
We learned by experience.
Yep. That's what we did.
Yeah. Well, how would you encourage a listener right now, a father who is not eating at the table with their children, with their family? What would you tell them?
I would say that is the best time to get to know your kids. That's the only time you're really sitting down with your focus with them in front of you, because you're if you're watching TV, you're focused on TV. If you're playing sports, your goal is sports. If you're reading together, your focus is on that book. But when you're sitting down and eating, you're focused on the food eating, but you're focused. Everybody's staring at you. You're staring at them. It's just the best time to hear from each other.
Man, that's good. What are some of the things, like you've mentioned before, what is your favorite book? What are some other practical things that they could use? So like me, I would say, first of all, men, find a table. Find a table where you can look across and see your child, or they can sit beside you. Like mine are always arguing. I want to sit by mom today. I want to sit by dad. And that's a good thing. Like yes. I need to be thankful for that they want to sit by us. They want to sit at the table with us. So men, find a table, find some chairs, sit down. If you can't afford it, like sit down on the floor, do whatever you can.
That's right.
Use that fine china, paper plates and chinette, all that good stuff. And, do whatever you can to sit and eat and just start somewhere. But how do you have a conversation? Maybe they've never had a conversation with their father or didn't know their father. And they're like, okay, you're telling me to get a table and chair. How do I lead them in conversations?
Yeah, what's next?
Besides like sports. Like, I mean, yeah, that's good, right? But what do we talk about? How do we lead that conversation? Because you're the experienced one. You've got 10 that you're mastered this, man.
Well, I would admit that every time I've had an agenda, it's never worked out. I don't think one time I was like, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this scripture. For some reason, it never goes the way I feel like it should go. But I would say that a good conversation starter is what's your favorite, because you're going to know what they like, or what's something good that happened to you today.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite part of today? And if you had all the money in the world, where would you go? What would you do? Just silly questions like that, and then you kind of start hearing their heart.
Mm-hmm. You ever had any excuse me? Do you ever have any like disciplining talks at the table, like more firm, like, hey guys, I know we're eating, but we need to talk about this serious moment about. Do you ever have those conversations?
Yes. Yeah, we do. Not often, because it is kind of hard to focus with 10 kids, 2 adults, and we're all, and usually everybody's in a great mood. So everybody's wanting to talk, everybody's wanting to joke, and pass food around. So usually not the greatest time to talk about it, but we do. We've had times where, okay, we're going to be quiet, nobody talk, and you're just going to listen for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And and sometimes that turns into another, how do you feel about this?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the consequence that you might get? How do you feel about this rule? So again, they're getting to talk and reveal some of their heart too.
Yeah, and the other kids are present to like learn from that.
Yes.
Who talks the most at the table? Who tends to talk the most, or desires to just like? You're always the one who's going to talk.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great question. Again, I think this might change with seasons also. I would say, okay, for my 2 oldest, they sit next to me and they're always trying to ask me questions. They're always trying to talk, usually about sports. So I'd say they're trying to get, especially my 17-year-old Josiah, he's always trying to get a word in with me.
Okay.
Probably with my wife. She's occupied with a 2-year-old. But I would say my 8-year-old maybe trying to talk to her the most. But everybody's trying to say, hey, I want to say something. I want to talk. So we do have to quieten everybody down, and we go one at a time.
Okay. I was going to ask that.
Yeah, that's what we end up having to do. Why we don't start that way, I don't know, but we always end up that way.
You always end up that way.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that everyone's like wanting to have a conversation. Who's the quietest one?
Oh, that would be Jeremiah. He's my 12-year-old.
Okay.
Hands down, he's just quiet.
Like he doesn't have to say anything. He's like, I'll just eat and listen to everybody.
That's correct.
So how do you pull a conversation out?
Well, you really have to know Jeremiah, and you have to ask him the right questions, and he'll talk. He will talk. He just, I thought maybe he was shy, but I don't think he's shy, because he will talk, but I just don't think he feels the need to say something. So I kind of admire that out of him.
Yes. I have one of my best friends growing up is that way. He can talk. He doesn't have a problem talking. Mm-hmm. It's just like he doesn't have to talk. It's like, I'm good. Mm-hmm. Another buddy who's just the same way. And I'm like, man, they're just quiet. If I'm quiet, it's because I'm thinking. I'm not mad. I'm just thinking through something.
Yeah.
But I can talk a lot now. I don't think I was one of those talkers for a long time. But the reasons that what gets me in trouble with talking a lot is because I want everyone to get the big story of it all, have the history of it all, so that they can fully comprehend what's going on. So that's what happens is I'm like, well, let me explain the whole thing to you.
Yep.
Because I don't want to explain it again.
Yep.
So I got a problem with conciseness. How do I say this in a package?
I do that. Yep. I do that. And especially, and if we're talking about sitting around eating dinner, and I were trying to talk about scripture or something, I try to tell everything. And my wife's like, they don't need to know all that.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, same way. I'm trying to tell them the whole story, so I go too long.
So you typically, Your typical day, you're going to work, I'm assuming in the morning, coming home at what time?
I get so now I'm taking classes at seminary. So on those days,
Well, how about before then? How about
Okay.
before seminary?
um,
Typically,
so
on an
I-
average.
I'd say you get off around 4:30. So I come home, and most of the time we go straight to dinner. And then after dinner, we all clean up together, and then we go outside and play.
Okay. So you're rarely cooking dinner because you're getting home
Right.
a certain time.
Yeah. My wife, she's does all the meals. However, all of them been trained to cook.
Mm-hmm.
So my older one cooked, my 19-year-old cooked for a long time. And now my 17-year-old, my wife several years ago broke her ankle.
Mm.
And wasn't able to do much, and she got an infection and had to stay in bed. And he took over, and he found out that was his gift.
Wow.
And he loves to cook. He loves to cook for all of us, and he'll say that too. He works at Chick-fil-A, but he'll say, I don't want to go to work. I'd rather just stay home and cook for you guys.
Nice.
So he kind of found his calling to that. So he does a lot of the cooking and grilling, and my daughter, 16-year-old daughter, will cook too. She's more of a baker. She likes to bake all the sweets.
Bro, you just raised a chef and a baker.
I know.
Like, come on now. Like, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
I wonder why I can't get in shape.
Dude, this is a privilege. Children are a blessing. They're hard. They're difficult. I mean, that's just is what it is. But all people are difficult because we're selfish. They don't ever align to the way or to the things that we want them to do. And so it becomes difficult, and we realize how selfish we are. I've seen that in myself as I've had kids and they're wanting to do this, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you want to do it? I'm just tired. And they don't see that tiredness. They just see, my dad doesn't want to play with me.
Yep, absolutely.
How do you handle being tired, trying to be a husband, trying to be a father to 10 of them? What is your roller coaster moments? What's your highs? What's your lows? I mean, what does that look like for you? Because I know there's guys out there that are just like, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I'm worn out. What do I do? I want to give up.
Yeah.
What's your experience?
I have, I got one thing I know is my wife is very good at checking me on this when I'm on the opposite end. When I am exhausted and I'm still trying to play with the kids, she's like, you can't play anymore. Come in. Or something like that. She's very good at taking care of me in that regards, because I will just be spent, and I'll still try to do everything I can with them. But I think for me, working with the students in the public school, I'm in an underprivileged school, and these students and so I learn about their home life. So when I come home exhausted, a lot of times God reminds me, look, this is what you have. This is what your kids have. Yep. And I just kind of rejoice in that, and I revitalize them. Let's go. Yeah.
So just finding something to be thankful for.
Just glad that I have them.
Yeah.
And I have an opportunity to pour into them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, there's so much more we could talk about, I'm sure. Experiences. What does that look like with balancing a wife and having her input and your differences with them? Because I'm sure that's an issue, and just all sorts of things. But man, we're going to have to cut it off just due to time wise. But I appreciate you coming in here and giving us the time and talking to us through your experience. And so, man, I think there's a couple different practical things that you've just talked about. As even with 10 kids, they're all unique. They're all different. And so you've got to treat each kid differently and talk to them on a personal level. Find out what they desire to do and train them up in that way. I think the other thing was like leveraging your kids, right? What they want to do. So one wants to play sports, and they might love to teach the other one. So let them teach the other ones.
Yep,
like the one who wants to cook. Like, okay, you want to cook. I'm not going to take it away. Like, you can cook for us. That'd be great. And then just the importance of like the table. I think that's really the key aspect of the takeaway that how do I become a better father for the glory of God and for the good of my children? We'll start eating with them at the table. And you don't have to have like, as you said, you can come up with a scheme to talk about, but then it never works. It just never works. So what is something that you would, as we close out this podcast episode, what would you encourage these men with? And then what would you challenge them with?
I would encourage men to look at these kids as not your own.
Mm-hmm.
They're from God. So raise them according to God, according to biblical standards. Because the goal here is to advance the kingdom through these guys. And so I would encourage you when you're tired, when you're angry, when you just don't feel it that day, to know that you're actually responsible for somebody else's children, and that would be your father's children. So I'd encourage you that, and I would challenge you with the biggest thing for me is not to discipline when you're angry. You should always just discipline out of love and peace.
Yeah.
I had a wise person tell me one time, when you get angry, you're just throwing a fit, just like the kids are throwing a fit. I'm like, wow, I can't be throwing fits.
That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, the biggest part of training for me was not to discipline while I'm angry. So I would challenge you to step back from that.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thanks, Hugh. Appreciate you coming in here, man. Well, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. As always, if there are questions or comments or ideas or thoughts, just whatever it is that you have, go ahead and email us at practicaldadpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that is practicaldadpodcast@gmail.com.